Hello class, Mr. Guarino here. In this video I'm going to illustrate how to make an animation by having a picture change colors and have different frames with the different colors put together in an animation, all using Photoshop. So I'm going to click New File, and I'm going to make sure it's set 700 by 500 is a pretty good size for a screen. Probably big for a phone, but pretty good for like a desktop computer, which is what we're playing around with. Very important though, make sure this says pixels, not inches, because inches would be like a gigantic file and way too big to work on as far as file size, probably crash the computer. So 700 by 500 pixels, click Create, and you get this blank white rectangle. So you could, I'm going to just go to my move tool over here because I had it set on crop last time I was using this. And you'll see this toolbar down below, which by the way is called the contextual taskbar. I shouldn't say toolbar, contextual taskbar. Okay, let me click away. So now you can go get an image from the internet, bring it into Photoshop and do what I'm about to show you. But Photoshop is now coming with lots of ways to just get stuff. So we can just say generate an image, and they have all these different images here that you can use and play around with, and they're, you know, pretty nice looking. If you don't see anything you like there, you can just kind of tell it what you're looking for. So I'm going to type great white shark and hit enter and see what it comes up with. Give it a few seconds. And there you go. And it gave me three choices. That one, this one, or this one. I don't really like that. And that's okay. But I kind of like this one. So I'm going to use this one. So now, with this selected and this background layer over here, I'm going to click on the background layer. I'm going to turn off this eyeball, so we just have white right now. We're going to do something with some blending options so that I can make this picture be the same picture but with different colorization, shall we say. So let me turn this off, and I'm going to fill this with some color. So I'm going to go to my bucket tool, I'm going to click my color swatch and pick something that I think might work good. So I'm thinking like a dark purple to blend in with that blue. So I'm going to go over here. That's kind of dark purple. By the way, I'm not real good with colors, so if these things look weird, well, I'm just showing you how to do it. You don't have to do the same thing as me. Yours should look better than mine. So here you'll see, I turn on the top layer, you see the shark. You don't see the purple underneath because that's how the layers work. But if I click on the shark, you'll see that over here, this thing that says normal, it's functioning normally. The shark totally covers the purple. But we don't have to have that happen. We can change it. And all these different blending options make the picture look different just based on blending the top one with the bottom one. So for right now, I'm going to keep it on normal. This is going to be my first picture. I'm going to make 4 pictures. You could do more, but do at least 4. So while this is looking like this, I'm going to export it as a PNG. So I'm going to File, Export, Quick Export PNG. And I'm going to make an animation out of it, so I'm just going to call this 1, as in like my first frame. Just to make it easy. Save that, and then change my blending options. This dissolve looks about the same. That looks kind of weird. That looks kind of weird. I guess since it's a shark, I want it to look kind of like ominous, scary. Like this right here is yucky. This over here, though, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. If I went from this to then that might look good. So I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do File. Ooh, where's my mouse? File, Export, Quick PNG. Going to be my second frame. So I'm going to name it number 2. Always save to the place we agreed upon in class where you would save everything. And then I'm going to go from this linear dodge down to this overlay and save again. File, export, quick export PNG, save it as 3, and then what was it on? Overlay. That's this one. I mean, that looks good too. I think I'll use that one. Again, if you think my colors are yucky, I'm not good with colors, so you pick the colors that you like. And I'm going to name that 4. You even could, if you want more of an effect, click on this background layer. You don't always have to be purple. I mean, that's just what I chose. If you wanted to do more of a... Now the scene basically is blue. So if I make it blue, maybe it won't have that much of an effect. Let's see. So click here, put this on. Click here. It's set to vivid light. Here's the normal. And you'll see the different effects that it makes with the blue background. Oh, that's kind of weird. Now let me do 5 frames, because this one looks really ominous. Maybe even a little too weird, but let's use it anyway. File, export, quick export PNG, and number 5. Okay, so now I'm done. If you want to save this file, you can save this too as a Photoshop file. So I would just name it Great White Shark. Again, you don't have to use the built-in things from Adobe. You can go find your own photo and do this stuff to it as well. So now I'm going to close this out, and I'm going to do another new file. But instead of doing new file, I'm going to say File, Scripts, Load Files into Stack. And I'm going to browse for them. Go to the folder where they were saved. Not the Photoshop one, but the 5 PNG ones. I'm going to click that one. If you didn't know this, you can hold down Control and click, and it selects another. If you do Control A, it'll pick them all. We don't want this one, so that's no good. You can do Control A and then Control click that to deselect it. Another way is click once here, hold down Shift and click the end list. A number of ways to choose all 5 of them, but you want to choose all 5. You could just click and then Control click each one. That works too. Once you have all 5 selected, click OK. And then say OK. So now made each one of those pictures a layer. And we want to do an animation out of those 5 pictures. So you have to go up here, Window, and put on the timeline for animation. Right now it says Create Video Timeline. Well, we really want just frames. So I want a frame animation, so I'm going to switch that. And then after I switch to frame animation, I'm going to click right here where it says Create Frame Animation. Click on that. Now it only added frame 1 there. I want to add the rest of them. So if you click this button and you say Make Frames from Layers, it adds all 5 of them. Notice down here, they all say 0 seconds. So I don't even know. Let's see if I play it. It goes basically as fast as it can. I don't think we want that. So if you click this little drop down, you can say, I don't know, maybe 1 second. Notice I have to do it for all 5, and you can click each one and say 1 second. They don't even have to all be 1 second. One could be longer than the other. But if you want to set them all, you can click and then Shift and click so that all 3 of those last 3 ones are selected. Click this drop down and choose one. Now they're all 1 second. So if I click play, this is my animation. Don't know if you like it or not, but I made an animation. So now I'm going to click stop, and I'll probably save this file, save as, and I'm going to save it as a Photoshop file, and I think I'll call it Great White Shark animation to distinguish between the other one, which just had the shark in it. And click Save. But now when you open that file, it'll open in Photoshop and you can play it, which is cool, but we really want to have a file that we can put somewhere and have it play, like perhaps on a website. So we have to do this. File, Export, Save for Web. And then it comes up, and it should be defaulting to this GIF because a GIF file supports animation. JPEG does not, PNG does not, but GIF does. And since it knows it's an animation, it's setting it up to animate. You'll notice it has over here set to forever because down here was set to forever. So that means it's just going to play over and over again. So really just make sure this is on GIF and click Save. And make sure you save it to your folder. It defaults to the same name but with dashes in between and the .gif extension. Then click Save. And then Photoshop, because you've done something, meaning I've saved it or I've exported it, this little star up here means your file needs to be saved. There really wasn't any change per se to the Photoshop file, but whenever I see that star, I always just resave before I close out. And I can even close out Photoshop. Let me just minimize it for now. So now, let me bring over the Windows Explorer window that I have with all the files I just worked on. Here's just the first shark. Here's the 5 PNGs. Here's the shark animation Photoshop. And here's the shark animation as a GIF. So I'm not building a website right now, but most photo viewers will play animations if you just double click on the file. So I'm going to double click that. And here's my photo viewer. And you can see it playing. So later when I make a web page and I add an image to the web page, if I add this image, it's just that. It's just an image static on the web page. If I add this image, because it's got a built-in animation, it'll be on the web page and it'll have those 5 frames cycling through. A simple little animation. So make something like that, have a little fun, make it nice. And I think that's it. Thank you.